to me, it plays into a much bigger social issue. And that much bigger social issue is the disconnection between responsibility, accountability, and consequences. So if I can get on the internet and I can say anything, even if it's not true, I've now been irresponsible. But because there's no recourse to me, I have no accountability. And because I have no accountability, there's no consequences. I think back to when I was younger and in school, and whenever we had to write papers, I remember one of the real things that hung over you was if you were ever accused of plagiarism. So as painful as it was to do book reports or any kind of research report, you really were taught that you had to cite references and cite footnotes. And at some point it hit me that what was really important about that is that meant when I read anything else, I should be disciplined about looking at what the references and what the footnotes were so I could understand the quality of the data that someone was using in making their argument. So it taught you that mental discipline. Today that's all out the window. Even places like Wikipedia that I'm a big supporter of, yes, you have people that cite references and things, but there's like this attitude that says, but if you have too much editorial control, somehow you're taking away the benefit of the internet, which I think is absurd. There's a lot of reasons why you have editorial overview and oversight, validation, or transparency. And I think it's one of the things that we have to be really careful about. The answer is absolutely, because they have the resources, they have the experience and the history, and people, when they read something from a paper like that, they're expecting that. So to me, it's part of the contract that you have with your customer. Maybe if you're reading something from a blogger, you think, well, maybe it's true, maybe it isn't. But where the problem comes in, and we've had this happen at Seagate, is you have a blogger write something initially, and let's just say it's a completely, bizarre, wrong, fabricated set of facts. That person is never fact-checked, or if they were, their story gets picked up, and they're even referenced as, and oh, by the way, we have no idea who this person is or whether or not anything they're doing is valid. Then that story, though, let's just say is incrementally more credible. Then that story gets picked up by someone else. Then it gets picked up by our wire service, and what happens is within basically an hour, you can have the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times referencing that they picked it up from Bloomberg News. Now those both sound like really credible sources, but really the source of the information was some, kid in a garage. And I just think it's crazy. We're losing the whole balance between cause and effect, and therefore we're not modifying behavior based on either you're getting positive reinforcement when you're doing something productive for society, and you're getting negative reinforcement and or punishment if you're doing something bad for society. And that's just a breakdown that's, I think, not going to trend in our favor.